Hey guys, Jimmy H here, just taking a stroll along this bike trail. I just dropped off my daughter for soccer practice and training, so I have 2 hours to kill. Thought I figure I will stroll along this bike trail. Never been here, so I'm gonna just walk and talk and vlog with you guys. So, as you guys know, or from the title already, my biggest regret in life, right? What is it, and why do I consider that my biggest regret? Well, you just have to stay tuned to find out what it is. Have you ever got the question when you were younger from adults asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's your passion? What kind of profession do you want to be? Well, honestly, when I was a kid, I had two professions that I really wanted to be. One was, believe it or not, a police officer. Um, because I like saving, helping, protecting, and it comes with the territory, the power that police officer has, right? Everybody look up to them and whatnot. So as I grew up, I leaned away from being wanting to be a police officer for various reasons and whatnot in the world and what it's portrayed to be in society, right? So if you ask me now and I was another 5-year-old kid what I want to be, police officer would not be one of them. But my other passion and dream was to be a professional actor or athletes, something in that realm, a professional in any aspect of life. Because I like that lifestyle. I like Hollywood. I like being looked up upon. I like kids comes to you looking up to you asking for an autograph. I like that aspect. I like to give back, right? So yeah, so that was my dream. But of course, as you're seeing this vlog and 45 years later, I am none of those three. I'm not a police officer, I'm not a professional athlete, and I'm not an actor by any sense of your imagination. I went to acting school until I was 21, but that never panned out. I had an opportunity to go to Los Angeles and pursue that career. But me being in Northern California, me being in a Asian, I guess, an Asian family household, the pressure was me to get um, good grades. All right, I'm gonna go off trail here. The trail is, let me turn the camera around. The trail is over there, as you can see, and I'm going off trail. Never been here, never been in this section. So let me see where this leads me. All right, guys, I'm back. So, as an Asian son brought up in an Asian family household, I was under tremendous pressures to always get good grades. And this goes along back way back in grade school, elementary, middle, and high school. I was never really the sharpest kid, nor do I want it to be the sharpest kid. I just wanted to make sure I passed my class and get decent enough grade. I was really aiming for a B average. I was never really gung ho about getting A's, but I wanted to also at the same time keep my mom happy, right? She's a single mom and she wanted all of us, including myself, my siblings, and whatnot, to do good in the world, get good grades when you're in school, or if you're working, get a good job, get a good paying job, and whatnot. I was the youngest out of six, and the pressure was on me to basically show that we can do it, right? Since my older siblings didn't have the opportunity of grade school and middle school, um, I was the one basically given that opportunity. So I didn't want it to disappoint any of them. So I tried my best to get through the middle school stage, high school stage. And when I was ready for college, I really didn't know what I wanted to be, right? I knew that my passion was being one police officer or somewhat of a professional athlete or celebrity of some sort, right? But at my senior year, I knew that the police officer option was out of the question due to personal reasons. Why? But I can go over that in another video. But anyway, police officer was definitely out of the question for me. Second one was being a athlete. I am physically vertically challenged for basketball. I can play baseball and football. I'm just not physically fit for football. I'm just too small, right? So baseball was my only um, outlet if I wanted to pursue being a professional athlete. But with growing up as an Asian family, single parent household, we didn't have that opportunity. And back then, when I was growing up, I didn't have the opportunity like how my kids are now with club sports or financial means to even pay for club sports through, through private trainings and whatnot, like how kids nowadays do. Like when I started this video, I said I'm just walking because my daughter's in soccer training. So yeah, I didn't have that opportunity. So being a professional athlete is basically out the door. My only other outlet was being a celebrity of some sort, an actor of some sort, go to Hollywood and whatnot. So I continued pursuing that. Even though I know that not my parents, my mom, because my dad was still in Vietnam at this time. My mom wanted me to be a typical Asian son, engineering, and I hated math. I hated anything to do with engineering work, but I wanted to keep her happy. So I took some engineering courses when I went to San Jose State, which is where I end up going because Cal Poly rejected me, and UCLA rejected me because I was still wanted to do that acting career. So I wanted to go down south to be closer to auditions and whatnot if I have the opportunity to. But as far as Cal Poly and USA, they rejected me because I guess my grade point average wasn't good enough. So they rejected me. San Jose State accepted me, and so I went to San Jose State. I had to turn around for a minute there. I ran to the end of the street. So I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna actually go into the trail off trailing and see what's out here. I see a deer over here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let me turn the camera around. I'll zoom in and I'll see if I can capture it for you guys. I don't know if you can see it. All right, back to blogging. The deer ran away, saw me, I guess, just ran away. So, yes, I was under tremendous pressure trying to please everybody except myself. Right. I really wanted to move to LA. Didn't get accepted by the schools near there. So nonetheless, I attended San Jose State, got some engineering major just to please my mom. Um, like I said, I don't know if I said it, but if not, I hated engineering courses. I hated math. I hated anything to do with equations and whatnot. And I knew this from middle school and high school. So it was not a big surprise to me. And so, but I still went and took some courses. Um, and on the side, on the weekends, at nights, I do some acting courses, training, and whatnot. And I was offered a glamour models audition contract for 2 years but I have to move to LA. And that was where my dream of being a professional actor stopped. Um, One, I was only 18 years old, didn't know if I wanted to pursue and live on my own. Half I did, half I was in a little bit in denial. But yeah, nonetheless, I basically turned that contract down and just went to San Jose State and tried to see if I can succeed and get some engineering courses under my belt. There's a nice pond in front of me right here. Let me turn the camera around and show you guys real quick. All right, guys. So after Xing out my police officer career, Xing out my professional athlete's career, and now Xing out my acting and celebrity career, I was basically down and out. I was basically just going through the motions, working full time. Not to say that anything is bad working full time and having no plans, but it felt to me like I was a straight up loser, right? Um, no directions in life, just work, go sleep, go home, eat, work, go sleep. You know, the routine that I right now know is called the rat race. Everybody goes through it. I'm not anything special. And that was when I was in my mid 20s, right? 23, 24. Still has no direction, still have nothing planned for the future. And yeah, that went on 1 year, then another year passed, and then another year passed. By the time I really took life seriously, I was already well into my 30s, maybe 33 at the most, where I say, I really have to kind of buckle down and see where I want my life to be. Right? Never really invested it in any 401k while I was working. I was just spending all my paychecks on junk, wants, keeping up with the Joneses, I guess you could say. I was gambling. Had a gamble addiction in my 20s into my not late 30s, but late 20s, early 30s. And that was it. That was my life. Work, sleep, eat, weekend, go gamble, right? That was it. And so when I hit 33, I kind of paused myself, got a reset and saying, what am I doing? So around 35 years old, right when I turned 35, I just say enough is enough. Um, got married and had my first child, my son. He was born in 2010, and basically that's when I started settling down. But then I settled down in a sense of the regular routine where you work a 9 to 5, you put money on. I mean, you not put money. You bring money home. You put food on the table. You have a roof over your head. I was under that trap, and honestly, I'm not saying that was a bad thing. I'm just saying that I could have took a different direction earlier in life and maybe still have what I have, but a more enjoyable path, right? Um, who knows? I could have break out and be a great athlete. Who knows? I could break out and be a great actor or a terrible one at both, right? But who knows? I didn't never tried. I never took the opportunity. Now I'm regretting that I never did. So now at 50 years old, I lived through half my life. I'm not saying I'm going to live to 100, but hopefully I could survive until at least 85, maybe 90. So I would say a little bit over half my life. I need to really, really think about what I'm going to do for the latter half of my life. I really want to retire at 55, and that is definitely a spot that I want. yeah, I really want to retire at 55 and just explore Southeast Asia, where the cost of living is a lot cheaper. And I just don't want to miss that opportunity. I don't want to miss the opportunity of, you know, regretting again, like I did about my professional career, right? I'm not saying anything bad about what I'm doing now, like I mentioned. I'm not saying that my life is horrible. I'm just saying that I took a turn and now I'm dealing with the consequences, and I really regret what um, I could have been if I would at least took a chance. So, more of the story is my biggest regret in life was never following my dream. Um, and my passion as outside pressure, trying to please everybody else except myself, took front and center. So right now at 50 years old, I'm gonna take control back of my life. I am gonna aim at a 55 retirement age. You guys will be, with me through this channel. I have multiple channels, but this channel is going to be basically about my journey to 55 and retirement and beyond. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. But at least I could document it. It's a living diary for me here, digitally. As long as YouTube still survives, I have a digital diary of my life, and you guys will be front and center and going with me if you guys, subscribe to my channel and whatnot. But I promise you guys, everything will be authentic. Everything will be from the heart. I like this video is, and yeah, outside pressure is going to really be a key for everybody. But as for me, outside pressure kind of turned me into who I am today. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that I never got the opportunity to follow what I really wanted to be when I was a 5 year old kid. When I was asked when I was a 5 year old kid, I wanted to be a police officer, a professional athlete, professional actor, or celebrity in a sense. None of that came to fruition. I'm just a random guy on YouTube living a normal life, working a 9 to 5, raising a family. So time to take control back of my life. Time to, I guess, steer the ship to the direction that I want for the latter years of my life. Not sure how long I'll live. Like tomorrow is not promised for anybody. But yeah, so guys, let me give you some scenic views of this place. I'm standing right in front of a pond, like you guys saw earlier. I think there's some mosquitoes getting to me, but yeah, I'm not gonna end the video, but I'm gonna end myself talking, and then I'll just show you, some glimpse of the scenic. I might take a excursion right here, and hopefully I don't get uh get lost. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Until the next video. Um, and until the next journey that we share, peace out.